Good, happy Tuesday evening. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast. Let's get started. First up, we're following breaking news this evening. Untimely deaths of 2 people under investigation in Haverhill. Let's take a listen to this video from WMUR News 9.
Breaking this noon right now, the Attorney General's office is investigating 2 deaths in Haverhill. The AG says this is an ongoing investigation, and at this hour they are not releasing the location because they're working to notify next of kin. Authorities say there's no evidence to suggest there's any threat of harm to the general public.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. As soon as we get more information, we will keep you updated. This is a developing story, so stay with us as we get more information into our newsroom. MMA fighter dies after being knocked out in weekend bout. Mixed martial arts fighter Ronald Clark, a Massachusetts native, has died after being knocked out during a fight over the weekend. His death has opened an investigation. Clark, 26 of Scituate, was competing as part of the Cage Titans showcase on Saturday at Plymouth Memorial Hall. According to Plymouth County District's attorney, the match was stopped about 2 minutes into the 3rd round and ruled a technical knockout. According to a person who observed Clark's match, Clark had never been dominated in the fight, but then there was a sudden, noticeable change in Clark. The witness told WCVB that they did not see Clark take any substantial hits prior to that change in his demeanor. After the fight, the DA said Clark was taken to Beth Israel Deacon's Hospital in Plymouth and then transported to Beth Israel Deacon's Medical Center in Boston. He was pronounced dead on Tuesday morning. Officials with the DA's office said they are joining with State Police, Plymouth Police, and Massachusetts State Athletic Commission in an investigation of the death. The fighter card posted on the Cage Titans website indicated that Clark was fighting Ryan Dunn in the 170-pound weight range on the undercard. Accused Buxton shooter appears in court. Let's take a listen to this video from WMTW News 8 in Maine.
Poured everything into this show. Cars, culture, love. Oh, in the face! Go with me now.
A Buxton man facing attempted murder charges for a shooting earlier this month held on $250,000 bail. State police say 19-year-old Brandon Lassant admitted to shooting Lincoln Kimball and that the 2 men had been dating the same woman. The shooting happened outside Lassant's house, and Lassant claims it was in self-defense.
In the state of Maine, there's a very favorable self-defense claim where the state actually has to essentially disprove self-defense beyond a reasonable doubt. So if we raise the issue and the judge instructs a jury on self-defense, the state has to prove that he was not entitled to that defense beyond a reasonable doubt.
Kimball was hit several times with shotgun pellets and is making a slow recovery at Maine Med. In court today, Lassant did not enter a plea.
Okay, and there you go on that report. Now let's take a look at your stock market and see how your stock market closed for this Tuesday evening. And here's a look at the markets right now. Your Dow Jones Industrial Average closed in the green and went up. Your Nasdaq closed in the red and went down. S&P 500 index closed in the red and went down. CNBC IQ 100 closed in the green and went up. Gold closed in the red and went down. Oil closed in the green and went up. US 10-year closed in the green and went up. EUR/USD closed in the green and went up. And VIX closed in the red and went down. Retail rec caps gains in stock. S&P 500 closes little changed. Retails fell sharply on Tuesday, capping gains in the border market. And we're following some breaking news. President Trump says elite left shames blame for Charlottesville violence. Let's take a listen to the video from ABC News.
Or simply a mom and pop. It's always good to put yourself in the shoes of those under your care. Your experience can be eye-opening.
I'm actually COO. I'm an undercover boss. Oh my goodness.
Undercover Boss Marathon every Tuesday starting at 7 p.m. only on Discovery Family and streaming live on Discovery Family Go. Download the free app today.
What about the alt-left that came charging at the, as you say, the alt-right? Do they have any semblance of guilt? You had a group on one side that was bad, and you had a group on the other side that was also very violent. And nobody wants to say that, but I'll say it right now. You had a group on the other side that came charging in without a permit, and they were very, very violent. And you had a group on one side that was bad, and you had a group on the other side that was also very violent. And nobody wants to say that, but I'll say it right now. You had a group on the other side that came charging in without a permit, and they were very, very violent. I've condemned neo-Nazis. I've condemned many different groups, but not all of those people were neo-Nazis, believe me. Not all of those people were white supremacists by any stretch. I'm not putting anybody on a moral plane. What I'm saying is this. You had a group on one side and you had a group on the other, and they came at each other with clubs, and it was vicious, and it was horrible, and it was a horrible thing to watch. But there is another side. There was a group on this side, you can call them the left, you've just called them the left, that came violently attacking the other group. So you can say what you want, but that's the way it is. Well, I do think there's blame. Yes, I think there's blame on both sides. You look at both sides. I think there's blame on both sides, and I have no doubt about it, and you don't have any doubt about it either. And if you reported it accurately, you would say you're changing history, you're changing culture, and you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay? And the press has treated them absolutely unfairly. Now, in the other group also, you had some fine people, but you also had troublemakers, and you see them come with the black outfits and with the helmets and with the baseball bats. You had a lot of bad people in the other group too.
So I just didn't understand what you were saying. You were saying the press has treated white nationalists unfairly?
No.
I just didn't understand what you were saying.
No. There were people in that rally, and I looked the night before. If you look, there were people protesting very quietly the taking down of the statue of Robert E. Lee. I'm sure in that group there were some bad ones. The following day, it looked like they had some rough, bad people, neo-Nazis, white nationalists, whatever you want to call them. But you had a lot of people in that group that were there to innocently protest and very legally protest because, you know, I don't know if you know, they had a permit. The other group didn't have a permit. So I only tell you this, there are two sides to a story. I thought what took place was a horrible moment for our country, a horrible moment. But there are two sides to the country.
Okay, and there you go on that video of Donald Trump speaking at a press conference today at the Trump Tower. Also, President Donald Trump lashed out about the criticism of his initial statement about Charlottesville violence today and quickly went on to blame both sides of protesters for conflict, adding that they were very fine people in both the groups of white supremacists and white nationalists, as well as the counter-protesters. And that does it for the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Tuesday night. I'll see you back here tomorrow with more great news. Good night, everyone. Bye.